When you finally stopped chasing her, when you finally went silent, you didn't do it to play a game, did you? You did it because you were exhausted, because you were tired of explaining yourself, tired of proving your worth, tired of being the only one trying. And now you're sitting there wondering what she's feeling on the other side of that silence, wondering if she even noticed, wondering if the woman you once cared about, or maybe still care about, felt anything at all when you stopped showing up. If this is you, you're probably replaying everything in your mind. Did I mean nothing? Was I really that easy to replace? Why do I feel more alone now that I've finally done the thing everyone told me to do? Maybe this feels familiar. That sinking heaviness in your chest, the quiet moments where your mind starts asking questions you don't want to answer. The part of you that hoped she'd reach out, even though you told yourself you were done. And it's confusing because silence wasn't supposed to hurt this much. Not after everything you carried, not after everything you tried to give. You wonder if she feels relief, or regret, or guilt. Or maybe she's pretending not to care while checking her phone a little too often. Maybe she's telling her friends she's fine, but deep down she's wondering why the man who used to try so hard suddenly disappeared from her world. And that thought, that possibility, keeps you locked between hope and anger. But there's another part of you, a quieter part, that wants to know the truth she would never admit out loud. What really goes through her mind when your silence finally hits her? Most men get this entire situation wrong because they think silence is a tactic. They think it's a trick that pressures a woman into caring, or some magic move that flips the dynamic in their favor. But a man who carries real calm authority understands something deeper. Silence isn't a strategy. It's a shift. It's the moment you stop abandoning yourself to hold on to someone who wasn't meeting you halfway. Think about it. For so long, you believed effort equals value. That if you just tried harder, explained more, showed her your intentions clearly enough, she'd finally see what you were offering. But chasing never made her respect you more. It just showed her where your center of gravity was. It showed her you were willing to step away from your own standards just to keep her close. And that's where most men break their own masculine frame without even realizing it. A man grounded in himself moves differently. He understands two core principles. First, emotional leadership starts with self-control, not with persuasion. Second, attraction grows from certainty, not desperation. When you stop chasing and go silent, it's not an act of punishment. It's an act of returning to yourself. It's you choosing clarity over chaos. It's you choosing to see what's real instead of what you wish it was. And the moment you do that, something shifts in her too. Because a man who steps back with calmness, not anger, not manipulation, not fear, is a man who communicates strength without saying a word. She may not admit it. She may not show it, but your absence carries weight she didn't expect. Most men never learn this. They panic. They break the silence. They rush back into the very pattern that made them lose themselves. But you're here now seeing the truth differently. And the question is, what actually happens inside her when she realizes the man she took for granted just became unavailable? It starts on an ordinary evening. The kind where nothing dramatic happens, yet everything inside you changes. Your phone is face down on the table, screen dark, the room quiet except for the low hum of a ceiling fan. For the first time in a long time, you're not waiting for her message. You're not rehearsing what to say. You're just sitting there, letting the silence stretch. And it feels heavier than you expected. Across town, her night looks normal on the surface. She's laughing with a friend, sipping something cold, pretending everything is fine. But every few minutes, her hand drifts toward her phone. A subtle check, a quick glance, nothing. She tells herself she doesn't care, but the tiny knot in her stomach tightens anyway. Why hasn't he said anything? He always says something. In your room, the silence feels strangely empowering, but there's also that flicker of doubt. Does this even matter to her? Does she feel anything at all? You push the thought away and lean back. For once, you're not chasing. You're just breathing. Later that night, she sits alone in her car before going inside. The streetlight outside casts a soft glow over everything, and in that stillness, the truth hits her. She misses the version of you that once showed up without hesitation. She scrolls up your old messages, lingering on ones she never acknowledged properly. She remembers moments she brushed off, things you said that she never responded to, times she assumed you'd just keep trying. Your silence now doesn't feel like a tactic. It feels like distance, real distance, the kind that can't be undone with a quick text. She bites her lip, staring at her screen. Did he finally get tired? Did I push too far? Why does it bother me this much? Meanwhile, you're sitting in the same room, lights dim, a quiet strength settling into you. You still care. You're not made of stone, but you're no longer willing to chase someone who didn't meet you halfway. Two people, one silence, and for the first time, she's the one feeling its weight just as much as you always did. A lot of men walk into this situation with beliefs that were handed to them, not chosen by them, and those beliefs quietly sabotage every part of their confidence. One of the biggest lies you've been taught is this: if I stop chasing her, she'll forget about me. But here's the truth. When a man who always showed up suddenly goes quiet, it doesn't erase you, it highlights you. It forces her to feel the space you used to fill. It makes her confront what she took for granted. Presence can be ignored. Absence can't. Another false belief is thinking your silence is weak. That stepping back means you gave up. No. Real strength isn't proven by how long you hold on. It's shown by what you refuse to hold on to. You're not giving up on her. You're standing up for you. You're choosing peace over panic. You're choosing dignity over chasing someone who didn't meet you halfway. And that's when she feels something she never expected: the loss of a man who finally remembered his worth. A third false belief, maybe the most damaging, is believing she's not thinking about you. Men assume silence affects them more because they're the ones feeling the heartbreak, but women feel in waves. At first, she might seem unbothered. She might even act relieved. But when your energy disappears and your pursuit stops, the ripple hits her later and harder. That delayed realization is what makes her question everything. Here are the kinds of truths that shake a man awake. Silence isn't ignoring her. It's finally hearing yourself. She didn't ghost you. You disappeared from yourself. You don't lose value when you stop chasing. You reveal it. You're not here to play a game. You're here to break the beliefs that kept you chasing love instead of choosing yourself first. The 1% headman moves differently in this situation because he isn't acting from fear. He isn't waiting, hoping, or sitting on edge for her to validate his worth. He understands something most men never grasp. Silence isn't distance, it's direction. It's a return to himself. This is what he understands. When he stops chasing, he's not trying to make her react. He's creating space to hear his own voice again. He's choosing self-respect over emotional noise. The 1% headman doesn't weaponize silence. He embodies it. He lets it speak for him. He knows the moment he pulls back with calmness, the truth reveals itself: who shows up, who drifts away, and who was only there because he kept carrying all the emotional weight. This is how he leads with presence, not pressure. By being rooted, not reactive. By staying grounded in his standards instead of bending them for temporary attention. He's the man who can care deeply without losing himself. The man who can step back without collapsing internally. The man who doesn't need to prove anything through chasing because his value isn't measured by someone else's response. And that's why women feel his silence differently. Not because he's playing hard to get, but because he's finally hard to shake. It happens in a quiet moment you didn't plan, somewhere between checking your phone for the 10th time and staring at your own reflection in the dark screen. The room is still. Your thoughts are loud. And then something shifts, not in her, but in you. You notice the way your chest feels a little lighter when you stop reaching. You notice the way your breath settles when you stop replaying conversations, stop imagining outcomes, stop begging the past to rewrite itself. For the first time, You're not wondering what she's thinking. You're wondering why you stopped thinking about yourself. It's subtle at first, like a soft click inside your mind. The realization that your silence wasn't about her at all. It was about finally hearing the parts of you that had been drowned out by chasing. Your boundaries, your pride, your peace. You feel the weight of every moment you overgave, every message you sent too quickly, every time you tried to prove what was already inside you. And suddenly, you're not waiting anymore. You're remembering that you were a whole person before she ever arrived. Remembering that attention isn't affection, and that love isn't earned by persistence. The turning point isn't dramatic, but it's undeniable. You sit a little straighter. You breathe a little deeper. And in that silence, you finally meet the version of yourself you were always supposed to be. So here's the truth you came looking for. Yes, she feels it. She feels the shift in your energy, the space where your effort used to be, the quiet that used to be filled by your devotion. She may hide it, deny it, or take her time admitting it. But your silence lands, not because it's a strategy, but because it's the first time you chose yourself over the chaos. You stopped chasing, and she finally had to face everything she never acknowledged. And the man who walks away from noise with dignity becomes the one thing she can't ignore, the silence that proves he was worth hearing.